The importance to staying informed to healing official warning cannot be outstated. The storm's unpredictable nature marks it essential for residents to remain vigilant to take necessary precautions. While Turkey is no stranger to extreme weather events, it currently storms severe stark reminder of vulnerability of coastal region and the importance of reduced disaster preparedness. As the nation grapples with the immediate challenges posed by the storm, discussion about the long-term resilience and adaptation strategies are likely to gain promises to aftermath in the natural disaster. The storm's impact on the Turkey infrastructure is becoming increasingly evident, with the reports of power outage following recent localized flooding. Emergency services are working tirelessly to address this issue, but the sheer scale of the storm is testing the limits to their capabilities. In addition, the immediate drainage system, the storm conflict about the aftermath are growing. Landslides, a killer region, and potential disruption are critical services such as healthcare, the communication network are significant worries of ourselves. The Turkish government has called to inflict force urged citizens to assess their neighbors and follow safety guidelines. The economic implications this storm are also the case of applications. The disruption to the transportation and commerce could have a lasting impact on businesses, particularly those in tourism and agriculture sector. The timing these storm conditions in tourist season in the coastal areas adding the extra layer of complexity to challenges forced by the local economies. As the storm approached, Turkish across the country are heeding the warning, taking necessary precautions, are hoping for the best day they face the challenges presented by nature and unpredictable forces. The coming days will undoubtedly test the resilience and preparedness of the Turkish people and to navigate the impact of this powerful storm. In a dramatic turn of events, Turkey finding itself in the grip of a formidable storm as nature unleashed its full force across the nation. The storm, which will begin intensify over the past few days, has prompted our authority to issue warning and take precautionary issue to ensure the safety of citizens and property. The Turkish Meteorological Service has classified it. The storm is severe weather event, with the strong winds, heavy rainfall, and potential flooding expected in the region. Coastal areas are particularly vulnerable, with the storm surge posing a significant threat in low-lying areas. Cities along the Aragon and Mediterranean coast, including Istanbul, Izmir, and Antalya, are on high alert as the storm trajectory suggests with the swept across this densely populated area. Residents have been advised to secure lost objects, reinforce windows and doors, and possible evacuate to safer locations. As the storm approached, Turkish across the country are heeding the warning, taking necessary precautions, are hoping for the best day they face the challenges presented by nature unpredictable faces. The coming days will undoubtedly test the resilience and preparedness of the Turkish people and to navigate the impact of this powerful storm. In a dramatic turn of events, Turkey finding itself in the grip of a formidable storm as nature unleashed its full force across the nation. The storm, which will begin intensify over the past few days, has prompted our authority to issue warning and take precautionary issue to ensure the safety of citizens and property. The Turkish Meteorological Service has classified it. The storm is severe weather event, with the strong winds, heavy rainfall, and potential flooding expected in the region. Coastal areas are particularly vulnerable, with the storm surge posing a significant threat in low-lying areas. Cities along the Aragon and Mediterranean coast, including Istanbul, Izmir, and Antalya, are on high alert as the storm trajectory suggests with the swept across this densely populated area. Residents have been advised to secure lost objects, reinforce windows and doors, and possible evacuate to safer locations. The impact on transportation is already evident in numerous flights and the first service cancelled or delayed. Roads closure and disruption to public transportation are expected for the complication to the station to those intending to navigate through the storm. Emergency services are standing by reporting an incident with the rescue teams strategically positionally vulnerable areas. The government has activated its disaster response mechanism coordinated efforts to mitigate the storm impact. Temporary shelters have been set up and key locals providing relief to those forced to evacuate their homes. The Turkish Red Crescent and other humanitarian organizations are working alongside our authority to provide assistance to those in need. International agencies are closely monitoring the situation with the neighboring countries, offering support and solidarity. The European Union and United Nations have experienced their red lines to provide assistance to relief efforts and requests by the Turkish government. As the storm progresses, meteorologists are continuously updating their forecast to provide real-time information to the public. Germany finds itself in the grip of South Gustav, the tempest unprecedented magnitude that swept across the nation, leaving destruction in the chaos in the wake. From the northern coastal regions to the picturesque landscape of the South Gustav relentless to the test of resolve and resilience of the German people. In the Hamburg, Europe's second large port city, in the storm are unleashed in the water of resilience force. High winds whipped through the streets, caused havoc and disruption, while torrential rain transformed roads into rivers. The city's flood descended put at the test on authority worked tirelessly to protect vulnerability areas from the inundation. As Gustav swept inland, Berlin bears in the brunt the fury of iconic landmarks such as the Brandenburg Gate to Berlin Wall, standing the silent witness of nature's awesome power. Streets are deserted as the residents seek shelter from the storm, while emergency services come ready to respond to calls to assistance. In the rural Bavaria, communities rallied together in the face of adversity, offering support to solidarity to those in need, and the farmers work tirelessly to secure livestock to protect crops and some stock, while villagers come together to clear debris to ensure the safety of their homes. Transportation networks, great and halt of Gustav Fury disrupted rail and road travel across the country. Flights are grounded, trained, and deployed to have it become impossible to follow. Trees and debris block vital roads. Yet amidst the chaos, emergency worked tirelessly to keep essential service running to ensure the safety of the public. As the Gustav finally begins to reset, Germany emergency battery to unburden limited determination to rebuild and recover. Communities come together to assess the damage, offering support to assistance to those in need. The spirit of resilience burst bright across the nation, reminding the work of Germany's strength and determination in the face of adversity. The Italian government, in collaboration with the local agencies, is deployed to rescue to mobilize aid to assist those facing to deep consequences to this natural disaster. The national unity is solidarity pledging support to help the affected communities recovery and rebuild in the aftermath of this devastating flooding in the Hampstead. Italy finds itself grappling with the devastation aftermath of dual national disaster as torrential flood and forest hailstorm wreaked havoc across several regions. Picturesque landscape have transformed into a scene of chaos and destruction, and homes are submerged and formless, plummeted by ice. One can only describe the cruel twist and the fate. Communities from the northern Alps to the southern Mediterranean coastline have broken the burst of this catastrophic event. Rivers flowing by relentless downpour burst their banks in inundated towns and villages in their path. Streets that once bursted with the life now resembled turbulent rivers forced residents to flee high ground. Adding their misery, the relentless hailstorm stuck with the unfluid force, turning streets into ice river and blanket field and the chilly twilight of ice. Transportation network are likely to be severely impacted, with the disruption expected across any travel. Airlines have already begun preemptive cancellation and delays with the train service operation are reduced schedules in anticipation of adverse weather conditions. Drivers are being urged to exercise extreme cautions, particularly on the highway and routes where crosswind is especially dangerous. Emergency services are on standby by response to incidents that may arise as a result of the storm, with the extra personnel deployed to high-risk areas to ensure the swift coordinated response. Local authorities have set up emergency shelters to those displaced by the storm, are working closely to community organizations to provide support to vulnerable population. And challenging night ahead. The townspeople known for their in the heat of Europe, Hamburg, Germany's second largest city in facing an unprecedented environmental crisis. The city, known for its rich history and vibrant culture, has recently been in the forefront of the catastrophic flood, highlighting the severe impact of the climate change. In the early hour of the morning, the residents of Hamburg woke up to a city submerged underwater. The Elbe River, which has been a lifeline of the city of centuries, transformed into a source of devastation as it burst their banks. This sudden flood has not only disrupted the daily life of the citizen, but also raised serious questions about the city preparedness for such natural disaster. Emergency services have been working tirelessly to rescue those trapped in their homes and provide relief to affected areas. Temporary shelters have been set up across the city to accommodate those displaced by the floods. However, the task is monumental, but the city resources are scattered thin. The impact of economy is clearly devastating. Hamburg, a major port city, has seen maritime activities for height affected by not only the local economy, but also having ripple effects across Europe. The flood in Hamburg can start reminding of the real times of climate change. Experts have warned that such extreme weather events are likely to become more frequent and intense due to global warming. This disaster has put a spotlight on the need for cities to adapt and build resilience against such climate-related challenges. The economic impact of the natural disaster through the year to the fully wind field is expected to be significant, as the storm paced the relatedness of the Sicilian people shone through. Communities band together, aid the cleanup efforts to provide support to those hardest hit. Social media was a boost with the emergencies, with the messages of solidarity and offer to assistance, showcasing the indomitable spirit of the island's inhabitants. Meteorologists have attributed the severity of the storm and combination of climate factors, emphasizing the increasing unpredictability of the weather patterns. This event severe testimony of the challenges faced by climate change, underlining the urgent need for sustainable environmental policies. The Italian government response to the crisis pledged full support to the recovery efforts. Prime Minister, in a statement, assured the allocation for reps and resources to aid affected areas. Moreover, he emphasized the importance to bolstering Italy's infrastructure will extend to such extreme weather events in the future, as Sicily embarks on its journey to recovery. The already has sparked to national conversation on disaster preparedness and climate resilience. The storm while on Destin Island fortitude had also been a catalyst for unity and reflection of the importance to collective action to the face of environmental challenges. The German government has urged citizens to need the advice of authorities and stay informed throughout the official channels. Germany emerged better than and both ready to rebuild. Europe finds itself in the grip of tempestuous battle with the nature of what the powerful storm swept across the continent, leaving a trail of chaos and disruption in the way. From the white-swept coast in the Ireland of the snow-blanket streets of Scandinavia, millions are grappling with the ferocious of elements. In Ireland, where coastal communities are accustomed by the burst of Atlantic gales, the storm surge has battered shorelines and swept waves crashing against the seawalls. Authorities have issued warning urged residents to remain indoors in case of winds route speed exceeded 100 km per hour through a terrain to approach the tourism damaged infrastructure. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, transport network have ground the height of the storm and lashed the fury. Flights have been cancelled, trains delayed, and roads rendered treacherous by falling debris. Emergency services are working tirelessly to clear roads and restore service, but the sheer force of the storm presents a formidable challenge. Across the English Channel, mainland Europe is not spread from the tempest rage. In France, torrential rain has triggered flooding in low-lying areas, pressing residents to evacuate their homes. The iconic area tower stands stoically amidst the tumult, a symbol of resilience of the face of adversity. In the German where the winter chills still linger through snowfall exact but the chaos disrupting both the urban and rural life. Schools are closed, businesses street and public transportation paralyzed as the country grappled with the dual onslaught of the storm wind. For the east in Scandinavia, the stormy Arctic grip, during the blizzard continuation swept across the landslide. Norway, Sweden, and Finland are blackened in the snow with the visibility reduced in northern some areas, despite their reputation of resilience in the harsh winter. Germany is in high alert as a powerful storm system swept across the nation, bringing with the violence wind, torrential rain, and through it widespread disruption. The German Meteorological Service has issued severe weather warning for the vast stretch of the countries, urged residents to take precautions and remain vigilant. The storm dubbed Gustav by meteorologists is expected to make landfall in the northern Germany before rapidly moving eastward and doubling major cities such as Hamburg, Berlin, and Munich in the path. With a gust of 100 km per hour are forecast posing significant risk to property and public safety. Authorities have cautioned against unnecessary travel and advised residents to secure loose objects outdoors, such as furniture and signage, to prevent them from becoming hazardous, projecting its strong winds. Additionally, residents in low-lying areas are being urged to prepare to possible flooding in a heavy rainfall could lead to overflowing rivers and localized inundation. With the darkness sky and ominous cloud gathering about the iconic landmarks, including the Elef Tower and the Notre Dame Cathedral, the bustling streets in the parish are finding their crowd with the anticipation with a sting of urgency. Local authorities have urged citizens to execute cautions to stay indoors and the storm intensify its days. Weather forecasts predict that the tempests of bring heavy rain accompanied by the foreign gust of wind, posing a significant threat to the city infrastructure and public safety. The potential for flash floods and power outage has risen concerns about among officials who have implemented precautionary measures to minimize the impact. Continue to encourage the storm intensity wind attention weekend for UK. Updates to involved station. With the memories still fresh to the past storm have worked heavy across the country, including the devastation Xavier in 2017. Germans are talking in the threat to Gustav Zeros and embracing themselves for the what could long A trail through the affected areas with a trail of sheltered windows and data to hackers in its wake. Local authorities have been working tirelessly to provide aid to support those affected by the scare and the disaster and scattered rescue team. Emergency shelters have been staffed to offer refuge to displaced families, while search and rescue teams navigate treacherous conditions to locate those with miles stranded or trapped. Italy, historic agriculture and a cultural hierarchy have also fallen victims in a dual onslaught. The impact of the city infrastructure have been severe, with the reports collapsed bridges and damaged roads hindering rescue efforts. The metro network, a lifeline for many communities, came to gripping half of the tunnels become submerged grave, compounding the chaos. In a shocking turn of events, Barcelona, Spain, found itself grappling with a catastrophic flood, leaving the city and its residents in the state of turmoil. Torrential rain, unprecedented in their intensity, unleashed havoc in the region, overwhelming graving system and triggering widespread inundation. As streets transforming in the region, rivers emergency service swiftly mobilized to aid those affected by the calamity. Brave force responding, launching rescue missions wading through the waist-deep water to reach stranded individuals and families trapped in their homes. Helicopters swayed above, plucking people to rooftops, and floodwaters continued to rise. As the day progressed, images in submerged cars uprooted, trees and debris strewn streets circulated on social media, painted a grim picture of widespread destruction. Residents clad in the rain, sacked clothing, and were seen banding together to other assistance, displaying admirable resilience in the face of adversity. The floodwaters have also taken to toll Barcelona circular culture heritage and icon landmarks, including a former Sagrada Familia and historic buildings, are witnessing water separated structure damage. In the heat of Europe, Hamburg, Germany's second-largest city in the facing an unprecedented environmental crisis. The city, known for its rich history and vibrant culture, has recently been in the forefront of the catastrophic flood, highlighting the severe impact of the climate change. In the early hour of the morning, the residents of Hamburg woke up to a city submerged underwater. The Elbe River, which has been a lifeline of the city of centuries, transformed into a source of devastation as it burst their banks. This sudden flood has not only disrupted the daily life of the citizens, but also serious questions about the city preparedness for such natural disaster. Emergency services have been working tirelessly to rescue those trapped in their homes and provide relief to affected areas. Temporary shelters have been staffed across the city to accommodate those displaced by the floods. However, the task is monumental, but the city resources are scattered thin. The impact of economy is clearly devastating. Hamburg, a major port city, has seen maritime activities for height affected by not only the local economy, but also having ripple effect across Europe. The flood in Hamburg can start reminding of a real times of climate change. Experts have warned that such extreme weather events are likely to become more frequent and intense due to global warming. The storm, characterized by intense wind and heavy rainfall, left a trail of destruction throughout the region. The storm approached meteorologists, warning of the potential impact, urged residents to take necessary precautions. The Bavarian government activated emergency service, preparing the worst-case scenario. Schools were closed and public transport was significantly disrupted as a safety issue. The storm's arrival was met against winds that approached trees, damaged buildings, and disrupted power lines. In several towns, roofs were torn off houses, and streets were littered and debris. The fierce winds, reaching speeds of over 100 km/h, passed severe throughout the resident safety. Heavy rainfall accompanied the winds, leaving a flash floods in low-lying areas. Rivers and streams overflowed, inundated streets and homes. Emergency services working tirelessly to rescue people trapped in their homes to provide temporary shelters for those displaced by the flooding. The agriculture sector suffered significant losses, with many farms reported damaged crops and infrastructure. The storm also impacted wildfire, with the reports on inhabitants behind destroying animals being displaced. Throughout the ordeal, and the resilience of Bavarian people was evident. Communities came together to support each other, and volunteers helping to clean up efforts and provided aid to those in need. The government pledged financial assistance to those affected by the promise to review its disaster management plans to better prepare for future storms. As Bavaria begins to recover, the storm severe as a reminder of increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, likely linked to climate change. Experts call for more robust measures to mitigate the impact of such events and for greater investment in sustainable practices to protect the environment. The ammonia sound hailstorm pounded over rooftops and cars A severe hailstorm hit the region of Veneto, Italy, caused extensive damage and caught residents by surprise. The hailstorm, as big as a golf ball, pounded the area relentlessly over the hour, resulting in shattered windows, ruined crops, and dented vehicles. In the aftermath of the tempest, the authorities are evacuating the extent of the devastation, offering assistance in the affected communities. Emergency service promptly responded to the crisis, but the damage was so widespread that local authorities struggled to keep up. Residents faced difficulty in reaching safety. For farmers suffered significant losses, with the vineyard and orange devastation by the storm. Despite the challenges of the people of Veneto demonstrated their resilience of coming together to support one another. In a shocking turn of events, the picturesque town of Trocchissimo in the province of Udine, Italy, was recently based in the relentless onslaught of natural fury. A torrential flood accompanied by a violent hailstorm, wreaking havoc on tranquil streets, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Residents of Trocchissimo found themselves grappling with the double whammy as flood water surged through the cobbled alleys, inundated homes and businesses alike. The relentless rain, driven by gear-force winds, transforming in town once peaceful ambience in one of chaos and despair. As emergency sirens roaring through the water-loaded streets, local authorities will mobilize rescue operations, ensure the safety of residents stranded by deluge. The community related together, offering assistance to those affected by extended a helping hand of the vulnerable. Images captured the surreal scene of hailstorm, some a slice of a golf ball plumping the town rooftops and vehicles, leaving a trail of destruction, room silence of a scene from disaster movie. The aftermath related shattered windows, dented vehicles, and bedrock vegetation, testifying of forest and a hailstorm. A powerful storm swept across Bavaria, Germany, caused widespread destruction and chaos. This disaster has put a spotlight on the need for cities to adapt and build resilience against such climate-related challenges. The weather station of Iliad Tower recorded a widespread of up to 110 km/h. Meteorological Service reported that the level of the Seine rose by 35 cm during February. Meteo France has warning of increasing winds and heavy rainfall in the southwest, as well as a signal of the massive central atmosphere and crossing the country from the southwest to the northeast. Torrential rain have left Paris following the recent heat wave in France that flooded metro station in the French capital. Transportation network have been alerted, with the southern flight cancellation and delayed reported to Charles and Co. Airport. Republic Transportation Service have also been particularly affected, as the bus and train schedules have been modified and ensure passenger safety amidst the tumultuous weather conditions. Another resident of French capital filmed motorists driving through the deep water, ironically saying the Paris is beautiful because you can ever go water skiing here. Paris, France, in a stunning turning event, the city of London found itself under the grip of imminent storms set to unleash a fury upon of the capital. The meteorological department has issued a severe weather alert, cautioning residents to visitors alike prepare to tumultuous conditions. In the early hour of January, Sicily, Italy autonomous region found itself in the mercy of a formidable storm, with a wind reaching speed of over 100 km/h, and the relentless heavy rain and storm left a trail of destruction in its wake. Residents of Sicily waked to a scene of chaos, uprooted trees, flooded streets, and damaged infrastructure. The storm intensity was such that it impeded daily life, closed schools, disrupted transport, and leaving thousands without power. The emergency service working tirelessly to restore order, prioritizing the safety to those affected areas. The island's capital, Palermo, bore the both of the storm. Historic buildings, restored to their architectural beauty, suffered damage, while the city's narrow cobbled streets turned into fast-flow rivers. Inland town and coastal village alike faced similar devastation, but the local authority declared a state of emergency in several regions. Agriculture, a cornerstone of Sicily's economy, was not spared. Farmers severed their land and heavy herds of the storm-ravaged crops and appended years of hard work. Massive floods have wreaked havoc in historic district of Jordan in Paris, France, following heavy rainfall on past few days. In a picturesque neighborhood now is German canals and quarrying bridge have been transformed into waterlogged maze. The river Seine burst its banks, submerged streets, shops, and homes as a torrential osmotic water surged through the sea. Local residents were caught off guard by a sudden deluge, with the many forced and evacuate their property and flood water so rapidly rose. Emergency service and volunteers have been working tirelessly to rescue stranded individuals to provide shelters to those affected. The authorities have issued a red alert urging residents to remain vigilant and prioritize their safety. The flood had caused significant disruption in daily life in Jordan. Public transportation service have been severely affected, with the several bus routes suspended and metro stations closed due to water damage. Businesses in the area, including restaurants and boat crews, have been forced to close their doors, temporarily adding to the economic strain caused by ongoing pandemic. The city government has mobilized the rescue to manage the crisis. On the other, tests and cleanup and recovery, with the unity as the driving force by cleanup debris pumped out floodwaters and become prepared to shatter it remind of they once come to town. Through the extent of the damage remains substantial, the intermission spirits trackers Sumos clouds. The town embarks a long road to restoration, providing that even in the face of natural fury, the human spirit remain unbroken. In a devastation torn off when Italy found under the grip of nature fury as a torrential wind triggered widespread flooding and relentless hailstorm strikes various regions. With the river burst, the banks and low-lying areas submerged rescue operations are underway to aid stranded communities. Pictures Biro town and farmlands in northern Italy Biro boast on the hailstorm leaving behind a trail of destruction as troops are ravaged as properties severely damaged. The unrelenting onslaught has left residents shaken to seeking refuge from the ferocity of the elements. Emergency service and disaster response team are working tirelessly to evacuate residents and provide such immediate relief to affected areas. Authorities are urging citizens to exercise extreme cautions to stay indoors to ensure their safety amidst an ongoing natural calamity. Massive floods have wreaked havoc in historic district of Jordan in Paris, France, following heavy rainfall on past few days. In a picturesque neighborhood known as the German canals and Quarrying Bridge have been transformed into waterlogged maze. The river Seine burst its banks submerged streets, shops and homes as a torrential as muddy water surged through the sea. Local residents were cut off guard by a sudden deluge, with the many forced and evacuate their property and flood waters rapidly rose. Emergency service and volunteers have been working tirelessly to rescue stranded individuals to provide shelters to those affected. The authorities have issued a red alert urging residents to remain vigilant and prioritize their safety. The flood had caused significant disruption in daily life in Jordan. Public transportation service have been severely affected, with several bus routes suspended and metro stations closed due to water damage. Businesses in area, including restaurants and boat crews, have been forced to close their doors, temporarily adding to the economic strain caused by ongoing pandemic. The city government has mobilized the rescue to manage the crisis. Homes and cars in an Irish village have been severely damaged after a possible tornado hit the area. Emergency services were called to the village of Lilrim on Sunday afternoon after strong winds felled trees, ripped the roofs of buildings and left the debris across the street. Meteorological with war said reports of tornadoes in the area were probably true or definitely involved thunderstorm with a very strong wind. She said the forecast relied on reports on video on social media to state sure whether it was tornado. Down sky over the UK. UK weather. Rain to intensify due to 4 yellow warning from the Met Office. She added, in a thunderstorm, cold winds spread in direction can change and this races on the cold which causes rotation. And in the funnel shade cloud in April stretch all the way to the ground, it causes a tornado. It could have been a strange gust of wind probably over the one other, but people say they saw rotation. They are not very predictable, they only last a couple minutes. A witness to the possible tornado said his dream was spotting the debris as they drove through the storm. Orange wind warning are in effect on Clare, Galway and Mayo counties. Indication were a strong coastal wind combined with a high wave and tides. Strong Fedges, the second named storm of the weekend, has also brought yellow wind warning to countries Kerry, Limerick and Tipperary. The storm surge will lead to high seas and along with the storm, there was potential for the coastal flooding along the parts of the west coast, particularly on a high tide. The UK Met Office has also issued several yellow weather warnings for parts of Scotland and Northern England, but no warning have been issued for Northern Ireland. Bureau of Meteorology Chief Meteorologist Andy Page said Storm Fedge will summarize a turbulent weather Germany fired itself in those nature fury as storm Gustav swoops relentlessly across the country, leaving a trail of destruction in its way. With the wind's howling speeds reached up to 100 km per hour and the rainfall intensified, authorities have issued widespread warning urging citizens to take immediate precaution. The northern region of Germany, both of Gustav initial Oslo and the coastal areas, experienced fire winds and pounding waves. Hamburg, a city accustomed by maritime weather, faced inundation from the storm surge, prompting authorities to close food barriers and deployed emergency response team to blossom deafness. As a Gustav burst eastward, it impacted it across the major urban centers such as Berlin and Munich. The iconic landmarks of the capital city tremble under to onslaught and relentless gusts, where cities become rivers as rain pours down adapted. In the Munich, Bavaria, bustling metropolis residents handle indoor as tourists sway previously outside debris litter in the streets. Transportation networks grease on the half of the storm fury disrupted air, rail and road travel. travel. Airports scrambling the dirty flights and ground planes altogether while railway operations struggled to mountain service amidst the fallen trees and debris on the tracks. Highway resembled obstacle caused the driver navigate treacherous conditions, with authority urged extreme cautions to advise against unnecessary travel. In the rural areas, farmers raced against time to secure livestock and safeguard crops on the onslaught and even in the rain. The agriculture hinterland of Germany faced dual threat to crop damage and potential flooding, and in the western nation already relentless from the impact of the storm. Emergency service working tirelessly to respond incidents, reducing standing motorists clearing debris from the roads, and ensured the safety of the vulnerability communities. Shelters are opening by providing refuge and those displaced by the storm, offering the warmth and respite from the relentless onslaught of nature war. Amidst the chaos, resilience of German people shine through. Neighbors band together to help one another weather the storm. With the memories of the past calamities fresh in their minds, communities until the solidarity, demonstrating the strength and spirit that defines Germany resolve in the face of adversity. As Gustav Furey begins to wear in the skies gradually clear,